Hey Jay,
Hey.
interesting topic today.
I have so many emotions about this.
I feel like it's going to be really interesting because I think we feel differently about this.
Yes, a little
Possibly?
bit. A little bit.
Okay, so so we're talking about twin flames.
Yes.
This is something that you brought to me
Uh-huh.
because the people keep bringing it to you.
Many people are DMing asking for twin flame episodes.
I was kind of trying to put it off.
Same.
Okay, here's why. We're not ruining twin flames.
No.
There's nothing wrong with twin flames. I don't necessarily not believe it, but I don't really see it the way a lot of people see it. So,
Well, like a lot of things that we talk about, it's not the concept that's problematic, it's the application that can be problematic.
yeah.
That's where you and I get
That's where we get a little
squidgy about
squidgy.
it.
Yeah, your famous word that you invented, squidgy. Yeah, exactly. So with twin flames, I feel that way. But I'm going to say right now, I'm not against twin flames. So if you love twin flames and you popped into this episode and you're like, oh gosh, please tell me you're not going to make me hate the concept. We're not. We might make you question some things.
Yeah.
And bring up some things that I feel are problematic, but I don't personally love the concept, but I don't
either.
I believe in something so similar that it would be weird for me to be like, that's wrong. Because there's, as you'll see when we go through this, there's really not enough fact to dispute anything. It's just a bunch of people taking a concept and having opinions about it.
Agreed.
So.
Okay.
So this term, twin flames, became popular first in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
And then again, it sort of resurfaced in the 2000s.
Yeah, that's when I heard about it.
Yeah, well, say I wasn't alive in the 70s, so I wouldn't have heard about it
I was for like a year.
You had one little year. You probably don't remember,
I don't remember
anyone mentioning
material being presented to me.
But if you think back to the 70s and you think about like what was going on with this sort of, I mean, they call it the New Age movement. You know how much I hate that term.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. But sort of that like spiritual, holistic, hippie-dippy
Spin
stuff.
off of the hippie generation.
That's what was going on, and that's what was pulling this concept in.
Yeah.
And it kind of came back in the 2000s for reasons I can't quite nail down, to be honest, other than there really was like a big resurgence of like intuitive spiritual things then. So
True.
I think it's just like a cyclical thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. So there is no official definition.
There isn't.
There's no father. There's no mother.
No. No.
I mean, I could tell you who I think invented it, and I will in a minute.
Okay.
But even still, the what we think of it now is not what it came from.
Right.
So, but I did find a definition I liked that I thought I'd read to you. And when I say I liked it, I mean I think it encompasses like how most people view this. The best.
Right, but I think the fact that you can't really nail down a definition, or when you start looking for one, they're also different. I think it illustrates how nebulous this concept is, which is something to pay attention to.
Absolutely, that will come back up, friend.
Okay.
That will come right back up.
Okay.
Good observation.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, so this definition is from Mind Body Green, and it was written by someone named Sarah Regan.
I saw that one.
Okay, so here it is. A twin flame is an intense soul connection with someone thought to be a person's other half, sometimes called a mirror soul. Same thing, if you've heard that term.
Yep.
It's based on the idea that sometimes one soul gets split into two bodies. One of the main characteristics of a twin flame relationship is that it will be both challenging and healing. This is due to the mirroring nature of a twin flame. They show you your deepest insecurities, fears, and shadows, but they also help you overcome them and vice versa. Your twin flame will be equally affected by you.
Okay. I mean, that tracks for what I had thought about it.
I think if you hear people talking about it, or you see anything about twin flames, or you are like, let me take a quiz to see if my husband is my twin flame, or whatever you wanted to do. I don't know why I had a southern accent, but I did. And like, I think that this is what you're looking for.
Yes.
That's the definition.
Yeah. I was on a website I think it's Lone Wolf. Have you ever read
I
it?
saw that one in my research, yes.
And I love that I believe it's a woman, but I love that they said that like they just said there's no real definition. This is sort of like a working concept or theory. So like be very careful about what you're, and I thought that's what I like to see.
That's responsible.
That's what you and I are always talking about.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to know everything.
Yeah.
Say like this is something I want to write about, but like we can't be sure about it.
Another term you coined besides squidgy is spiritual integrity.
Yes. Very, very different phrases.
And that is spiritual integrity right there.
That is.
Owning that and saying
Yes.
that when you're publishing something.
Exactly.
Yeah, shout out to that.
Yeah, love it.
So some people say that your twin flame has to be a romantic partner, and then other people disagree completely.
Okay.
There's no set rule here.
Oh, okay. I had always heard it as like it was your partner.
Your like romantic
Yeah.
partner. Yeah. So not always the case.
Okay.
There's also, I wanted to point out the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate.
Yes.
Okay. So a twin flame, you have one, and they are your soul split into two, and they're the other half of your soul. So you're the same soul.
That's where you lose me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just like me being very like, I don't know if that's like the earthly human part of me or if that's like my ego or something, but the idea that they're like that my soul is split,
Yeah. Makes no sense.
but yet I'm not aware of what that or what's going on like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That doesn't feel
Right.
right to me.
Agree. This is why I don't like it.
Okay.
I mean, there's more
Right.
reasons I don't like it, but
And I get I get the working dynamics of the relationship. I'm sure you're going to get into
Yeah.
like that I get.
Yeah.
But the fact that my soul is split and there's only half of it in here,
like you're half a soul.
I don't like that.
It doesn't make any sense if you look at the laws of energy or physics
No.
or how anybody says anything about soul. So can half your soul die?
Which would right
Could
exactly.
then it come
Then
back
you're
and
opening up all
you're
these
always half a
questions.
soul? How did you get split in the first place? Why are some people split?
And not others. I think that's why like I'd be more comfortable with the term like mirror soul. Because you're just so much like that other soul that they're the same, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But the splitting of that, I don't know.
I'm with you. That's where my hesitation in
Yes.
twin flame is, because in every area you see that. Now you do see some people talking about it being like it's more of a like a abstract split. Like you're just like, do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, and we'll get into the history
Like a
of
metaphorical.
this. Exactly. We'll get
Yeah.
into the history of this, and it will make you question it further, I think.
Okay.
It's personally, this is just the way I think. This is not based on research. This is not what quote unquote experts think. This is just my opinion of it.
Yeah, but you are an expert on that.
Okay, well, fine, thank you.
Yes. In your expert opinion.
In my expert opinion,
Yeah.
is that better? You fixed
Yes,
it for me?
I'll
Okay.
allow it.
In my expert opinion, this is a relationship archetype,
Yes.
not necessarily a real thing.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's real, but
Yes.
do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That this is how the relationship with another person is playing out.
Yes.
Yes.
Because to sort of, I want to get back into this after we talk more about what this is.
Okay.
So help me bring this back around to
Okay.
this. But the idea that this person is here to teach you all these lessons and this one relationship is going to do that, I don't like it for a couple of reasons. And the first is that like everyone has free will, and everyone like you doing your work is you get the credit.
Right.
And like you can do your growth work with whoever, even if the person's not growing. Like,
Yes.
so some of that part I don't like.
Okay.
And then the other thing I don't like, and we'll get into this, is that a lot of times twin flame like dynamics and archetypes are romanticized when what's really going on is an abusive relationship.
That's what. Yes. That's
So-
my big concern.
So when people start talking about their twin flame, there's a moment where I'm like really leaning in to listen, like, what are you going to tell me about this? What is your
Exactly. That
concept of this?
for me, that's a red flag, but not about the theory of twin flames,
yes.
but about the relationship that you're talking about. Like I'm paying a lot of attention to what you're telling me about
Yes.
is the dynamic.
Yes, I'm not judging
I'm
you.
not, yeah, and I'm not saying like, oh, twin flames are bullshit. I'm just
Same.
like, wait, what are you saying is twin flame?
And I'm immediately wondering if you're safe.
Agreed.
Like, that's the first thing I'm thinking if you tell me
Agreed.
you are in a relationship with your twin flame.
Yes. Agreed.
And that is not because all twin flame archetype relationships are abusive.
Exactly.
It's just that it's become sort of a label to romanticize that a little bit.
I agree.
So it's the first question.
Yep.
Okay. So the twin flame, your other half of your soul, you have one. A soulmate, you can have many.
Okay.
And they're not necessarily romantic. They can be. Your children can be your soulmate, your parents, your friend. Jay, I think you're my soulmate.
I think so too.
Like those people that you have that like instant familiar feeling with.
Yeah.
And you just know on a deeper level. I mean, we talk a lot about how our lives just always parallel.
Right.
It's like we're on a track. I mean, obviously we have free will. We make our own decisions. But like there's so many times that those things happen. And we joke about even just in a friendship, like the dynamic of the parts that are hard for me, you like about me. And the parts that are hard for you, I like about you.
Right.
So like things like that are like soulmate. And you're like, you have soul groups.
But see, that's where, again, we are misinformed as a society. Because when you, like, just like you think everyone that's, like, psychic or intuitive sees dead people.
Or the future.
Or the future, right? When you hear that someone talking about soulmates, you think it's always romantic. And that it's this one person forever and ever, amen. Like there's no one else for you. It's sold as this romantic idea,
and that you're incomplete without them or something.
Right, exactly. So we are, again, that's why we have this podcast.
Yeah, right.
Is to talk about these things because we all are given the wrong ideas about them.
Exactly. And not just like me and you going like, hey, that's not how we see it. It's like literally, I mean, it's partially, but it's also like, hey, that's hurting you.
Yes.
That concept is actually hurting you more than it's helping you.
Exactly.
So let us fix it for you.
Right.
So I believe, and I'm not the only one that believes this, and I didn't create this theory, but I believe in the idea that you sort of incarnate with a group of people regularly.
I love that idea.
So like, I don't think you always do, but I think for the most part, the majority of lives, you sort of come with the same gang.
Well, that's why if you do past life work, it's like, the person that is your daughter in this life was your mother in your last life.
Yes.
Right? Like, because you're always sort of like doing the work together.
Yes, exactly.
That soul family makes a lot of sense.
That's how I see it. It's like a group.
Yeah.
And we talked about in another episode, I can't remember which one, maybe you do, but like some of the people who hurt you the most are part of your soul group to sort of come and help you.
Oh, we did an obsessed on like spiritual contracts.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Okay. So that I believe is true.
Yes.
None of this can be proven, guys. It's just from like a lot of research, a lot of intuitive work with people, people asking questions, and not just me, but other people sort of downloading similar things to say, right? Like, so, but as a concept, I believe that. And I think sometimes you can have a spiritual contract with someone who you end up in a romantic relationship with.
Yes.
Who pushes your buttons and teaches you a lot of stuff.
Correct.
And a lot of times I think people are labeling that twin flame.
Yes.
And I don't think that's necessarily wrong. It's just not what I would label it personally.
I agree.
So, okay. Let's talk about my best guess of its origin.
Okay.
Through a lot of research trying to prove it. I can't. But I'm pretty sure this is it. I'm enough sure that I'm gonna say I really believe this is where it started. Okay. Could there have been mentions of it before? Yes.
Right.
But the idea of a twin flame, I believe, is from Greek mythology. It's definitely in Greek mythology.
Tracks.
I can't find anything about it before.
Okay.
So one of the first sort of mentions of the concept comes from Aristotle, who lived between 384 and 322 BC.
Okay.
And the quote is, "Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies."
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so this sort of concept. It's also mentioned in the Bible. Twin flames are mentioned in the Bible.
Okay.
In Greek and Hindu mythology as well.
Okay.
So could somebody come and be like, actually, it was in Hindu mythology first?
Yes.
Sure,
Right.
they could. But this is just, from what I looked at, my best guess. Now, I would also like to say that because Greek mythology is it's pagan, but it's majority white pagan.
Yes.
It's better preserved information and passed down with more physical evidence.
Correct.
So you have to know that research is skewed.
Absolutely.
So could it have been happening other places?
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what I love? What's the book by Elizabeth Gilbert? It's a Big Magic.
Yes, I love that book.
And like the concept that intuitive ideas, she doesn't speak this frankly about it being intuition.
Yeah.
You can kind of read between the lines.
Yes.
That like,
Well, creativity is a form of intuition,
Correct.
and no matter if you identify that in a book or not, right? Yeah.
but basically that these like intuitive ideas or creative ideas are sort of like dropped down to different people.
Yes,
And
kind
then-
of at a similar time.
Right, at a
Yeah.
similar time, and some people take that info and run with it.
Yeah.
Some people ignore it, and it doesn't come up to the surface for them in their circle, right?
Was the example she gave like penicillin or something?
I
that
think
was
so.
Like it was discovered at the same time or
Like
similar
all over the
times.
world.
Yeah, in a time where they couldn't have communicated that to each other.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, so yes, this idea of like people being observant and being philosophical and having ideas and speculations about love and souls. It makes sense that different people all over the world would be having those same observations and ideas.
Exactly. Exactly right. Now, I'm going to read you a lot of stuff from Plato.
Okay.
So Plato wrote a book called The Symposium. Okay. And it's based on his study of Greek mythology. Now, just to remind people, Plato is a student of Aristotle.
Yes.
So if you're trying to like timeline that a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that because I believe that a lot of the modern concepts are coming from this.
Okay.
But before we talk about that, I want to explain the way that I always look at these kinds of stories.
Okay.
So sometimes people read into stuff like Twin Flame, like we're going to look into, and go like, this was Greek pagans saying this is true and I know it.
Yeah.
But I read it and take it in sort of like this is what, like if they were watching TV at the time, this is what the shows would have been talking about.
Okay.
So it would be like if somebody came to study us, like from the future,
Right.
and watched Game of Thrones and said, this is how humans think it is at this
Oh,
time.
Gotcha.
But this is just a story we're telling.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
like with fairy tales.
Yep.
Right? This is where a lot of this theory comes from for me.
Mm-hmm.
We were telling fairy tales to each other not as fact.
Right.
We were trying to get a lesson across and we were adjusting them based on the lesson because there wasn't TV. There was, we
We're
weren't.
sharing information.
Yeah, spoken word. That's how we did it.
Right.
So I view a lot of like Plato's work with Symposium as that.
Okay.
Is that like, it would kind of be like someone being like, oh, Harry Potter was a big book at the time. So they must have believed in all of the concepts of Harry Potter.
Gotcha.
I mean, I stand Harry Potter. I'm not saying that, but like, it's sort of like looking at it as total fact instead of like storytelling that's pertinent to the time.
Yep.
Are there truths in it? Yeah.
Yes.
Are there things playing out that are real? Yeah. But like,
Right.
if you really go and study media of the time,
Yep.
it tells you what was really like going on. It's like a real
And
reflection
like
of
that
society.
collective consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. It
So
makes a lot of sense.
that's how I view these things. Okay. I'm going to read you this one like first quote and then I think we should take a break and then kind of break this down.
Okay.
All right. So this is from Plato's Symposium. According to Greek mythology, humans were originally created with 4 arms, 4 legs, and a head with 2 faces. Fearing their power, Zeus split them into 2 separate parts, condemning them to spend their lives in search of their other halves.
Interesting.
This is where they took the idea
Right.
of the half splitting.
Right.
Now we're going to get into more points after we take a break.
Yeah.
But I think that he was more referencing masculine and feminine energy
Yep.
more than he actually meant.
Right.
Now you got to go find that other
Like
half
the
of yourself.
dichotomy of humans.
Yes.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay. So let's take a quick break
Okay.
and come back and discuss.
All right, Heather. This week we are obsessed with
What?
the guide.
I knew you were going to do this. I was thinking about this morning and I was like, I know she's going to do this.
Go ahead. Tell us about it.
I started a blog
Yeah, you did on Substack.
on Substack. Yeah.
I've been listen. Not to make it all about me.
Let's do that.
But
Please.
I've been nudging you this way.
Oh, it's specifically towards Substack, for like a year. Yes.
But here we are.
Here we are.
Yes.
It's free.
Well, you can pledge.
You can.
You can certainly pledge.
People are doing that, and I don't want them to. But
Hey,
We'll-
listen.
we'll talk about that after.
You
You
made me learn the lesson about
I know.
how energy. You have to reciprocate energy.
I know.
If you're putting something out, people need to give something back. It's reciprocity.
You're right. You're right. Can I make this about you again for a second?
Sure.
I have a black belt in this, so
Clearly.
okay. I think it's more important than the fact that I'm writing a blog is the fact that like it's so nice to have like friends in your life that are like clapping when you do something. And
Yeah.
you always do that for me.
Yeah, you go, Glenn.
I just
Go,
put it out. I
Yeah.
didn't even tell you I was doing it. I
I know.
I told you I made it. I got your approval for the graphic.
Yes.
I did those things.
Yeah.
But then I just put it out and I didn't, because I was like, I don't want it to be a big deal. And then you like immediately Marco Polo'd me like talking about how great it was and how many,
Yes.
people had already signed up and stuff.
Yes.
That's rare, too rare.
No, that's what friends are supposed to do.
That's not what most people do. So let's make it.
Well, you're a great writer.
Thank
and
you.
it's a great like vent, right? It's a great like
Yeah.
place for you to like get your thoughts out and be creative.
Mm.
I feel like there are so many writers
Mm-hmm.
in the intuitive world that don't write.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm one of them.
Yes.
And I think that for me, and I wrote about this in my first, hopefully there's more than one by the time this airs, but right now there's one thing I wrote on there.
Yes.
I wrote about this. It's like, I didn't want to do it because I was like, I don't know how to make this marketable. Like, I just want to write what I feel. I just want it to be intuitive. And I want, I love the energy of desire. And like, I mean, that's what intuition is, right? Like just follow it and just like write what I feel.
You wanted to write.
Yeah.
You wanted to write.
Yeah, but so I was writing, but I wasn't sharing it, and this intuitive nudge to share it wouldn't leave me alone. And I don't mean you. I mean
Right,
you
well,
also were nudging me,
right.
but like both. And so I just think go for it. If you want
Yeah.
to do something like that, like it's really nice to do something without any sort of like pressure for it to perform or
Well, right, fighting the narrative, like the inner voice of capitalism.
yeah.
That's telling you that you have to make money off it. Like,
Yeah.
like make this a side hustle. Like,
Yeah.
go make money with this. You're good at this. Make money with it. Like,
Yeah.
we can be good at things and enjoy things
Yeah.
without it being a side hustle or like a money maker.
Yeah, and there's sort of like a guilt that comes when you're like doing something without it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm taking time away from other stuff to do
Right.
something that's not going to produce money or be a sales funnel or something. And
Right.
But
That can also be like an absolute like energy stomper.
That's what it was feeling like to me.
If you feel
Yeah.
like if you put on the pressure of having to like market this or make
Yeah.
money off of it or sell
right,
it, like
right.
it can squash the whole
Yeah.
vibe.
And I'm all about like a hustle. If you
Yeah.
want to go build a business and be like, I've done that, you've done that. I mean, hello, we love that. But
Yeah.
like, you get so stuck sometimes,
Yeah.
and like it can affect your creativity. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to have to promise what anything was going to be about. I just wanted it to
Right.
be about whatever I wanted it to
Right,
be
because
about.
then it becomes full of pressure and
Yeah.
obligation.
It feels like illegal or something to
Mm-hmm.
just be like, I'm going to write about whatever the hell I want, and one day it's going to be like this, and another day it'll be like that,
Right,
and I
exactly.
don't promise how often, and that's it.
I think that's actually what people like about things like that, though.
Maybe.
The sort of organic nature of.
Yeah.
That's why people do really well on social media with like posts and stories, and then they try to move to like a bigger platform or a different platform, and it doesn't track
Yeah.
because you lose the sort of organicness of
Yeah.
of
you
it just
do.
being like An Instagram post.
Do you ever have that moment where you're like following someone on social media and then you kind of like slowly realize that they're like advertising something to you? Like I have no problem with like if you're like putting out content and then every once in a while you put an ad in there and you make some money from it, high five. I'll watch the whole thing for you so you get whatever hit from that. I'll watch it twice if you want. But it's the sneaky way that I don't love.
It's when the content starts to change.
Yeah.
Like you can feel the whole energy of the person shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I'm watching a TV show for free and there's a commercial, I don't mind.
No.
But when you're doing product placement in the TV show, I don't like that.
Right.
So it sort of feels like that a little bit.
Like a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
Go check out the guide.
Thank
you.
You can go to my Instagram
Yeah.
and click the link in my bio. But yeah, it's do the thing that you want to do and like allow it to just be however the hell you want it to be.
Exactly.
And when someone tells you that's not going to work or it's against the rules, tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the symposium and these other points from it where we pull a lot of stuff about twin flames.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the points in there was that males originated from the sun, females from the earth, and those who were androgynous from the moon.
Ooh, love.
So you also have to know, sorry, I'm flipping my paper. I know in one of the episodes previously I was hitting the table a lot.
You couldn't not acknowledge this.
I have to. We moved to the couch because it's a better sound thing. I get fired up and now I hit the couch.
Yeah, it's not as loud as the table tapping you were doing.
Yeah. So one of the things that's really fun about putting your podcast on video is then you have another platform to like pick yourself apart on.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
I also saw myself stimming, which I didn't realize I did.
Oh, really? You didn't know that? Oh. We've all noticed.
Oh, really? You're stimming?
Oh, no, I've noticed. We all do. Everyone does that.
I know.
Listen, no one is neurotypical.
I fully agree. I know that I'm not either, but like... So you sort of like hear about, you see like, oh, that's what that is. And, people do that. But I didn't know I was doing it until I saw myself on video and I was like...
Yeah, a little nervous system regulation.
Girl, what is the finger thing?
You're relaxing your nervous system.
Okay, well, anyways. So sometimes we're going to make noise.
I know.
I'm going to try not to do the annoying banging thing anymore. I mean, I'm not at the table. I'm only hitting the couch.
The table was a problem.
Yeah, I mean, there was one point you could hear my stomach growl. Like, I can't stop that. I'm not good enough editor to get all of that out. But, like, we're trying our best.
Just wait until we get
a
studio and an engineer. It's over for you
someone
bitches.
else.
It's over when you want to hear our stomach growling.
Also, I don't mind at all if you write in telling us that you heard something or that something was annoying you. That I'm fine with that. But, like, I know. We're more annoyed by it than you are.
Right. We are aware.
Okay. So anyways, the androgynous thing.
Yep.
It wasn't necessarily like somebody who didn't reveal their gender. It just really meant someone who wasn't heterosexual back then.
Or maybe like someone that was two-spirit or like trans.
Exactly. Anything that was not the heteronormative was...
Gotcha.
They were using that label.
I love it that it's with the moon.
Yeah, me too.
Love.
Okay. Beings becoming too powerful. So this idea, like these original humans, they were too powerful, okay? And the final straw in the story is that they tried to scale Mount Olympus.
Oh, they got too close to him.
So Zeus halved their power by splitting them in two.
Too much power.
Okay.
Yep.
This, to me, is so mother effing symbolic.
Yes.
That... this is why it is extra hard for me to go, yeah, that's two souls split. Like, this is a story showing you something important.
Showing you how powerful you can be if you call in all the energies of yourself.
Yes.
If you call in all the masculine, feminine, moon energies, all that stuff.
Yes. And again, we say this all the time, but we'll say it every time. When we're talking about energy, masculine and feminine energy, we're not talking about gender. Gender is different.
Right.
Gender is a social construct.
Right.
This is energetic.
Right.
And it does not mean, like, if you have a lot of masculine energy, you can have, like, female sexual organs.
Of course.
Like, it doesn't.
Right.
Those aren't, no.
Right. Right.
So the fact that it's going like, oh, together, human beings, when they have all of those powers in balance, are so powerful that they are trying to reach the gods.
Exactly.
That to me says something. And again,
Yep.
you can't think of like Christian gods.
No.
You have to think of pagan gods.
Yep.
And that they were split in two for that reason. Like, I don't really think they're saying, so go find that other half and have them push your buttons for your whole life.
Yeah. Yes. They're saying call in all of your natural energy and balance it and align it.
Yeah.
And then you'll be in a position of power.
Right.
Energetically.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly right. Okay. The other point that I thought was interesting is humans, like they in the story, they lost the will to live after they were split in half, and they just started dying. So Zeus put their genitals in the front, so when they embraced, they could have sex, creating desire and intimacy as well as the ability to reproduce.
Okay.
Again, I feel like a broken record.
Say
I
it.
think this is symbolic.
Yes. Everything in mythology is symbolic.
Yes. It's the same as like when you're, again, with the fairy tales and shouting out that episode, but it's a really good effing episode. I'm saying effing and fuck a lot in this.
I love it.
Okay. It really shows you, we break that down,
Yes.
like they're telling stories to teach you
It's
something.
like a coded storytelling.
And that's always what mythology has been presented
Right.
as, but so are all pagan tales.
Right.
Really. Okay. So just the fact that like the idea of desire being planted here, and I know it's presented sexually, but I don't think it's meant as only that.
Right. Well, and sex also meant something different then.
Yes.
It wasn't scandalized and taboo.
Yeah, so I think if you're being too literal and being like, unless I find my twin flame and have sex with them, then I'm going to have no desire to live, then do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
people are taking
yes.
it in a way that I don't
Literally,
think it was ever
literally,
meant.
right.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I just also wanted to point out something that I found interesting while I was researching this that I didn't know, is that Plato actually connected manliness with homosexual desire in men, not hetero.
Ooh,
So
interesting.
he talked about how like the most manliest masculine man would desire another man.
Yes.
Like that would be the most manly.
Because it's two men.
Yeah.
Wow. Bring us back.
Yeah.
Educate the people. Like,
I thought that was cool.
Yes.
So heterosexuality was not considered like the most manly way to be a man. There wasn't a lot of talk about women in that, but I don't think it would have been relevant to the time to be referencing it that way. But
right.
I
Right.
thought that was interesting.
Very.
Okay. One of the most famous examples of twin flames literarily
Okay.
in literature
Yes. Yes.
is Romeo and Juliet,
Oh, okay.
written to represent this sort of like Greek
Star-crossed
mythological
lovers.
twin flame, star-crossed lovers. And here's why that gives me a little bit of the ick.
Okay.
Because I know that like Romeo and Juliet is a beautiful story. I loved the movie version with
Leonardo
Leo
DiCaprio. I knew you were
and
gonna
Claire
say
Danes.
that.
That was great. That was like I remember watching that thinking like this is amazing because it was like having this. It was so lyrical.
Yeah.
And it was just presented
cool,
interestingly.
yeah.
And Leo was like at the height of his game before he like
I
was
know.
kind of loving children or whatever he does, really young women.
Yes.
I wish you guys could see the face if you're only listening that Jamie's making. Whatever, problematic.
Sketchy,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think a lot of people still romanticize that relationship in a way that it wasn't meant.
I agree. I fully agree with that.
That's a cautionary tale.
Exactly. Again, it's like the coded storytelling to like warn people of things.
Yes.
Not to like romanticize it and put it like on this pedestal of love.
Yeah, I mean that whole story is about two families being blindly at war and
Yes.
the casualties being these children who are in love.
Exactly.
Like that's the messaging.
Right, but people only ever take away this like faded love.
But this really toxic love.
Right.
This is not
Dangerous.
a healthy, happy relationship.
No.
We're gonna die together.
Yeah.
What? I know there was a plan for it to be
Yeah.
fake, but it was
Yes.
all not good.
No.
I know Leo was in it and he looked great,
He did.
but
Yeah.
Claire Danes killed it.
Love.
But
Yeah.
careful here is my point.
And the bigger picture is important.
Yes. So this is where I think the idea that people are saying like, well, this is my twin flame.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very Romeo and Juliet. Like you're basically saying it's very toxic.
Yeah.
Where this is my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that if you're in a relationship, a romantic relationship with somebody for a long period of time,
Mm-hmm.
like a committed long period of time relationship, if you're not pushing each other's buttons and growing together, that seems more unusual to me than if you were.
Right.
Like that's not rare.
No. Right, but it's this people who talk about twin flames.
Mm-hmm.
The people who I've heard talk about twin flames
Mm-hmm.
have used it as an explanation
Yeah.
for being in a very toxic relationship.
Same.
They're not saying like, "Oh, I'm with my twin flame
Mm-hmm.
and we're pushing each other's buttons so that we can grow and like do better together and have this really fulfilled relationship." It's always been framed to me as my husband and I, or my wife and I, have this really tumultuous relationship.
Tumultuous
We
is a
argue
great word.
all
Yes.
the time. They
Yes.
push all my buttons. We are constantly fighting, but it's because we're twin flames.
That's
you're
where
missing,
it bothers me.
You're missing like the healing.
Yes.
So in everything that I read about twin flames, it says that there's an automatic magnetism.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're going to go over this, but
Mm-hmm.
like automatic magnetism. But then like what happens then is that you get like the tumultuousness, right?
Exactly.
Like you get the fighting, you get the sort of chaotic stuff.
Yes.
But then there's the growth.
Yes.
The healing together. You're pushing each other's buttons, but then you're working through them in a safe place to heal those things.
And can I just say something?
Yeah.
That's called shadow work.
Exactly.
And you're just doing that with your
With
partner.
your partner.
Not
right.
everyone does shadow
Right.
work with their romantic partner.
Right.
You don't have to.
And everything that I read, like I took some quizzes. I'm sure we'll get there.
I told you had to. Yeah.
But what I noticed was that one of the themes was that you feel safe and seen
Yeah.
with your twin flame.
Yeah.
That you feel like they see you like more than anyone else and that
Right.
you feel safe with them.
Right.
The people that I've heard talking about twin flames and making excuses for their partners, they do not feel safe.
100%.
They feel like their partner is like constantly picking at them and poking at them and like dragging them and
Yeah.
not harassing, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I sat through many sessions
I
with
bet
people
you did. I bet you did.
trying to justify their partner's bad behavior,
Yes.
whether it was cheating or physical, verbal, emotional abuse, because they were their twin flame.
Yep.
And so I think it gives me an extra ick about it that
Yes.
maybe someone else hasn't had.
Yes.
Because I have never had someone come to me and talk to me about their twin flame in a way that I felt sounded healthy.
Well, because how do you walk away from that?
I don't know.
Like if you're in an unhealthy relationship, if someone's in a session talking to you about it,
Yeah.
they know it's unhealthy somewhere.
I mean, that's why they're saying
Somewhere.
twin flame. Yeah.
But then
right.
like how do you then like leave that person? Because if you're buying into the theory of twin flame, that you're meant to be together.
Yeah.
Like you're meant to find that other part. So then it's like you're giving up on this like part of yourself.
Yeah, it's sort of like that concept in movies that you see sometimes where it's like, well, that's their one soulmate twin flame. So now
Exactly.
every relationship, it'll be fine.
So you have to eat
but
shit
it will
forever.
just never be as good. No.
Or you have to eat shit from them. Like
Yeah.
you have to take
Yeah.
this for the rest
Yes.
of your life.
Right, just be abused because this is your twin
Because
flame and they're
you
teaching you
can't
stuff.
you can't abandon your twin flame.
See, that's why I get pukey about it.
But like if you're listening and you really are on board, or if you're like
Yeah.
like there are people who do this for a job. They're like
Yes.
twin flame.
yes.
What would the word be? I don't know. not medium, like intuitive.
Yeah.
Like they do twin flame
Yeah.
work. They're a
Yeah.
twin flame coach. I don't know.
Yeah.
There are many people who do that.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you're like, no, that's not it. It's really this, but it's
Yeah.
not that. We get that.
Absolutely.
But what we're saying is that a lot of other people don't understand that.
I mean, it reminds me of like last week's episode when we talked about narcissism.
Yes.
Where it's like, I bet a lot of psychologists were listening going like, that's not what it is.
Right.
And we're going, we know.
Right.
But this is what people are making it.
Right. So we have to address like what we're hearing from people because it becomes problematic.
Exactly. All right. I want to tell you the signs of a
Okay.
twin flame,
Okay.
according to too many articles and quizzes.
So many.
Okay. A sense that you're meeting yourself.
Yes.
I don't understand that one, but what?
Right.
Like you're meeting them and you feel like you're meeting yourself. Does it just mean like you're seeing yourself reflected in them? That's that mirror
I
thing?
think so.
Okay.
Like you see yourself.
I would just like to side note say that I think that's a red flag if that happens to you. Not
Right.
that it's bad,
Right.
but that there's something you need to
Look at.
work
Right.
on.
Yeah.
It's like a shadow work scream.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Multiple similarities, sometimes uncanny. Okay.
Yeah.
Deep connection. Desire to grow.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that one of the human needs, the universal human needs, is growth.
True.
So
True.
See our episode on human desires and
Right.
fears. But okay, but probably in most relationships that's so maybe there's like more of a focus on it in these, would you say?
Yeah, in a lot of the quizzes I took, these were across different websites.
Yeah.
There was a very similar question that was like, after you met this person, did you start like up leveling or did like problems arise that you then fix so now you feel like a different person?
Yeah.
So I was reading like the subtext, which was like, this person comes into your life and sort of unlocks that, like a part of you that you can then grow from. So it's more than just like your average growth.
Yeah. It's like that's a priority.
They trigger something
Yeah.
in you to grow together.
Yes.
It was like one of the options was like, my life never looked the same again. Or something like that.
Right. That could also be said for like someone who punched you in the face.
Correct.
I mean, okay. Obviously I'm a little spicy.
You
about
are,
it, but
yeah.
I'm just saying. Only out of protection of
Right.
the toxic element of this. Because I do 100% believe that you have soulmates and soul contracts and I do absolutely believe in the archetype of this relationship. I'm just really skeptical on the idea that your soul's split in half and that person's the other part of you.
Right.
Okay. Continuing. The meeting signifies a major change in your life, like you just said. Mirrored life experiences. Person feels familiar. You mentioned that too. And then like a fiery, passionate connection.
Yes. Yeah.
So I feel like it was 100 quizzes. I feel like it was probably like 12.
You took 12?
Probably.
Wow.
It was a lot.
That's commitment.
Well, I was trying to find one that I was like, this I can get behind.
Okay.
Okay, here's my problem with quizzes like this. Don't lead me to the answer in your question.
Yes.
And every one I took was leading me. If I wanted to say my husband was my twin flame, I know exactly what to click.
I had that very thought. I could see in my head the girl.
Yeah.
The girl who is in a super shitty, toxic relationship and she wants so badly for this like partner of hers who she's like borderline obsessed with.
Yeah.
She's afraid to leave. She's addicted to the rush of the relationship.
Yeah.
See how detailed I'm being? This actually has never happened to me. But like there's like this archetype I can see of this like this person.
Yeah.
And they want so badly for you to say they're your twin flame.
Yeah.
So they don't have to leave.
Yes. And from the other side, because I was looking at it from my own perspective of like, I don't know that this is a true concept, but like my husband is definitely a soulmate of mine. Like it's a very healthy relationship with a lot of pushing and teaching, right? And by healthy, I don't mean like we never argue. I think that's unhealthy.
No, right.
to be honest.
Yeah,
But like
you're supposed to be growing with your partner.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. So I was taking it, seeing if I could, as someone who doesn't really think much of the concept,
You
make
could, like,
it.
fail it. You could
No, if I could pass it.
Oh, okay.
The opposite, because I'm
Right.
already like not into
Right,
it, and I
right.
could.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I think most of the results I got was like may or may not be your twin flame,
Okay.
and I was like,
It's not.
how was this
Right.
quiz just says we don't know.
Right. It said that.
Literally.
Right.
So, in the archetype of a twin flame relationship, do I think that these concepts that I just said, these signs are true? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I think they can be true in a healthy relationship? 100%.
Right.
I think if you're in a relationship with another person where you're building a life together and you're going through stuff and you're dealing with like money and maybe children and division of labor and that's
And, like, mental health issues and neurodiversity and like
Yes.
family issues and
yes, boundaries and like there how are you not gonna grow?
yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the work.
well then the relationship is done.
Right.
But I don't hear those people
Mm-hmm.
going like this is this is my twin flame. Like imagine if I was
Right.
somewhere and I was like, "Hi, I'm Heather, and this is my twin flame, Matt." Like that's
That's too
really
much.
weird.
Right.
So the people who are kind of saying that are usually saying it because the person is hurting them,
Right.
and they're in love with them.
Yes.
And to me, that is just such a thing that I want to protect in a person.
Yeah.
To love someone who's like really, really hurting you
Yeah.
is really fucking hard. And so I just want to like stand at the door and protect them. And so I get nervous when people are like, oh, it's just your twin flame and like romanticizing that because that's not fair to them.
And it's not an excuse to take shit.
No.
It's not an excuse to stay
Never.
somewhere where you're not A, happy, but also B, healthy,
Yes. Exactly right.
you know?
Exactly right. So I found a twin flame reading that I had
Yes.
done.
Yes.
2017 or 18, I
Okay.
can't remember. And I reached out to the person who gave it to me to see if I could like talk about it, and I didn't hear back in time. So
Okay.
I'm not going to say their name, but I have nothing against them, and I'm not saying their name because they
Oh,
were
okay.
bad.
Right.
Just
Right.
but it was an audio, so like I had the recording still.
Mm.
This is like the good thing about having like digital clutter in your email.
Yeah, you
is
can
like you
find
can
it.
Google old
Yes.
stuff. So I listened to it again,
Yeah.
and now I have to say also that it was given to me, and then I was asked for like feedback in exchange for like how she was doing. She was
Yeah.
like new to it,
Yep.
so there's like some elements of that. But what she did in her reading was say that she was going to read the energy field of myself and the twin flame and how they met, because in her way of viewing twin flames, that their energy fields were always overlapping in some way,
Oh.
and that there was kind of almost like a chakra element connection to twin flames.
Even if they're not in your life?
Yes.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Because I was told I've never met mine in the reading and that they were not romantic.
Really?
Yes. Now, again, not everyone believes it that way, and that's fine.
Interesting.
And they said that I probably won't ever meet them, that I usually don't.
What?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, there was also like a side note that they might work for CERN.
Oh.
So,
Interesting.
if you're listening.
From CERN? They're probably not.
I don't think CERN's
CERN, I would
listening.
say.
But do you know what I mean? Like,
But there is a scientist listening, remember?
oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Remember they wrote and told, she was like, tell Heather.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm a scientist. I was like
a
so thrilled.
neuroscientist. And I was like, Heather, the scientists are
He
listening.
screenshot it immediately, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
So excited.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. Anyways,
But do you see how if the wrong person had that reading, that could spiral them?
yeah, they could think
To
in their
hear-
relationship that there was like, I'm not with the right person.
I'm not
or
with the right
something.
person, or
I'm
I'm
never
like
gonna meet
destined to
them.
be alone. Like
Yeah.
no one's ever like I'm.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the practitioner
No,
did
no,
a
she
bad
wasn't
job.
saying
Like, I'm
that,
sure
yeah.
she was like thorough and
Yeah,
thoughtful.
she was.
I just worry about who's
Yeah.
looking for information like this.
I mean, I was also told that it was a female.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
So like, again, if you go get a twin flame reading, it's just going to depend, because there's no hard and fast rules. This is a concept taken from basically a book based on Greek mythology.
Right.
That people are going to interpret it however they want.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So I loved it. I loved I listened back. It was super interesting.
Yeah.
There was a lot more juicy stuff in the reading that was like good but not pertinent to now. But like
Right.
it was clear to me that this person was legitimately intuiting things.
Yes.
Would I necessarily say that's a twin flame? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Is there some person I have a soul contract with that I might not ever meet? I'm sure.
Oh yeah, like yeah.
That I could understand.
Yeah, free will and all that.
So just my point being like go do this with people who are certified, like this girl
trusted
is
people,
trusted
right?
people, and see, but go in very open.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about this is my twin flame and you're using it as a way to like romanticize toxic behavior,
Right.
I just want you to go speak to your therapist about that.
Yes.
If you don't have a
That's a good
therapist, I want you
idea.
to
Yeah, go find.
start
We
the
should all
journey.
have therapists.
We all
Yes.
should have therapists. Yeah.
Well, I found my twin flame.
Oh, you.
I mean, according to the quizzes.
So tell me, do you believe that? Like, do you think that your husband is like the other, like your soul split in half, and he's the other half of it?
I was like, Billy, I'm gonna be talking about you in this house. Get clearance from him. I don't know.
Okay.
I went into, as you know, I went into the quizzes like, oh God, no way.
Yeah.
And then every single one, and I was doing what you were doing, where I was like, sort of tamping down
Yeah.
the answers because I was like, it's so easy.
It's so easy to know what to hit, so they'll tell me it's my twin flame.
Right. And legitimately, like, not every answer was like, yeah, we have this like crazy passionate relationship and like we make each other mad all the time. Like a lot of the answers were like, yeah, sometimes that applies. Sometimes that applies.
Yeah.
And I honestly answered and they all said yes.
I think that's just like a relationship with two people who are doing healing work, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we are certainly doing our own healing work.
Yeah.
But like, do I feel like one of the questions was on all of them.
Yeah.
It was like, when you met the person, it was something that implied like you knew instantly that something was different.
Oh yeah.
And absolutely, the night
Yeah.
I went on the first date with my husband and I closed the door to my house and I was like, something's different.
Yeah.
Like something that has never.
Yeah.
And not like romantically or sexually, but like but like this feeling was like, that's different. This thing is different than anything I've ever felt.
I can relate to that.
And I just knew.
I knew Matt my whole life.
Yeah.
And then he walked into the gymnasium in high school to talk about being on the golf team. I was the only girl in the boys' league. It is. I mean, if you just change it to 90s, that would be accurate. And I knew him, and he sat down next to me, and something happened.
Right.
But I felt like somebody had hit me with like a beam of energetic lightning, to be honest. And you know, I'm not very cheesy about this. I mean, I kind of am inside, but not outside. And I was like, I just remember feeling like time started moving different. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what was, like, something cosmically just happened.
Exactly.
And I've known him, and now it happened. Like, what
something
is going
clicks
on?
into energetically.
To the point where a friend that's still a friend of ours witnessed it and was like, what? To this day will be like, what happened?
Right.
I saw something happen.
Wow.
And but my response was, oh no.
Oh really?
Well, because I had this plan that I was gonna like marry a professional athlete and take all his money.
What?
Yes.
Take all his money?
Yeah, so
I did not think you were going to say that.
I was 15. We started dating when we were 16. And I just thought...
You were a gold digger.
There was so much, like, at the time on TV about, like, these athletes, like, leaving their wives and, like, and their wives, like, a lot of them were having, like, reality TV shows, like, grouped together of, like, I like First Wives Club-esque stuff. And I just thought, I'm going to reverse that to somebody. I'm going to convince him no prenup. I'll do like a Red Sox player or something. They're going to travel all the time. And I'll take everything.
Diabolical.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then I'll have all this money, and then I'll go fall in love with whoever I want. But I'm stealing, I'm taking, because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this celebrating of men like this. It's so annoying.
That's incredible.
So it really, my oh no is like, that really ruins that plan for me.
Great, Matt. Now I have to love you.
Yeah. Great. Now I can't go
to go get a job.
I know. I can't steal money from a professional athlete. Why?
Thanks, Matt.
I just thought like that would be so cool. If like I just would imagine myself like telling my great grandchildren like how I made my fortune. It was off of some stupid man.
Oh my god.
How has this never come up before?
I have no idea. This is incredible.
Okay, so for me it was like crap.
Yeah.
This is ruined. I can't marry a Red Sox player now.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but like not for love, just for his money.
Gotcha.
And I had to like for real fall in love.
Mm-hmm. Be in love and work and like work
work
together, like grow together. Like
it was a great plan. I mean, I honestly think I could have probably found him again after I took the Red Sox players' money, but that's not
fate
what I did.
had a different idea.
Yeah, and you know it all worked out for the best.
But I felt like those answers. I answered yes to that answer.
I answered a lot of yeses too because I do feel like there's if you're people like you and I who are like always doing the work, you're going to always be doing the work in your relationship.
Right.
You're going to I don't have the ability to not say if something bugs me.
Correct.
Some people do.
Right.
You kind of do. You're losing it though. It's fast. It's fading quick in you.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say it, but I'll wait for the right time or like.
And you'll say it like really
I'll
nice.
Say it really nicely.
I'll just be like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So I just also think that like it's twin flame kind of sometimes removes the like the work and like the credit you should get for like doing that in your relationship because relationships are like they're tough and they're work and I just want you to have the credit and not like the fact that you're
cosmic plan.
Yeah, like your soul got split in two.
Right.
I think you just are in love, babe, and I think that's awesome.
Right. And I really I just keep getting hung up on. I keep finding myself wanting to say, yeah, I'm on board. Like I love the idea that my husband is someone that like I was fated to be with, or that mirrors me and knows me so well that like we feel like mirrors to each other.
Yes.
But you lose me at like the splitting of the souls.
Same. And I know some people don't take it that literally.
Right, exactly. But some people do.
I know.
That's the problem. That's why we're here, is because some people do take it that literally.
You are a whole soul.
Yes.
You are complete without anybody else. And
you're worthy, you're supposed to be here.
Yes, you don't need to earn any of that shit.
No.
But like if you are desiring a partner, you deserve that. Go get it. There's no shame in that. Like it doesn't mean you're half a person. It just means you're intuitive.
Right. Yeah.
So go like an intuitive and empathic people feel things bigger.
Right.
And we have to constantly find the deeper meaning and the growth when you go through something hard.
Well, like the moment of you meeting Matt or the moment of me meeting Billy.
Yeah.
Are those moments had by intuitive people? Or are those twin flame moments? Do you know what I'm saying? Like how it could be either.
I think we're just labeling something that like doesn't have a label.
Right.
And again, you could label it twin flame. You could label it soulmate. You could
or
label
just like
it
an energetic exchange.
I mean, that's what love is an energetic exchange. You could just label it love or true love or whatever you want to say.
Right.
I see other people in their relationships and they don't seem really in love.
No, I think that there are some people that marry for safety or they marry for partnership.
Yes.
They marry because it's someone who they think they could build a life with safely.
Yes.
And efficiently.
Yes. But I also think that there are some relationships where the two people are like, you can really see how in love they are. Right. I think that about you and your husband. I think that about me and my husband. Like, there's a lot of love and care
A lot
there.
of love.
A lot of love. So, and like the way they were treated, I mean, a lot of times I think the way our husbands treat us, other women sort of look at like, oh.
Right.
And I think that that's credit to them and maybe credit to us too for what we are
Our
okay with.
expectations.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't think that that means that my soul is halved.
Correct. Yes.
I
Or
just
that,
think
like,
I'm with a really
my
great
husband
partner.
dies?
Yeah, then half your soul dies.
I mean, I'll be devastated enough. Don't tell me that I'm like don't have half my soul now.
I mean, especially to an abandonment person like
Seriously.
you. Are you kidding me? So now your own soul's abandoning you? Half of it?
I mean, that would track. That would feed right into the story. I would never recover from that story.
I'm not allowing that story. So, if you love the concept of twin flames and you're sure you're with a twin flame, I have no way to say you're not, and I'm not going to argue with you about it. No. I'm just going to say I see it a little different, probably, but like, okay, tell me what you think and how you see that, and I want to know.
Right.
And you very well could be right.
Yeah, and if I get the feeling that you're safe and healthy, cool.
Great label.
Forever. Right.
If you want to tell me you're with your trio flame, okay. Are you happy?
Exactly.
Are you good? Are you taken care
safe?
of? Are your desires and needs being met?
Right.
Then call it whatever the fuck you want to call it, babe.
Agreed.
Great. If you're with someone who's hurting you all the time,
I don't care who they are.
I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're most of your soul. You're just a drip of a soul.
Right.
They're out.
Get out. Right.
No, I'm gonna guard the door and we're gonna get you to a place where you feel better.
Agreed.
But so it's just the label, and I think we have to be careful of when something blows up like this, where there's really no origin. It's kind of like the Wild West of like whatever we're gonna call it. Just be careful.
Yes, and also like you said earlier, find someone who, and we say this about everything, right?
Yeah.
But find someone that's trusted, that's experienced and educated on this, because I feel like twin flames in particular is like sort of a rabbit hole you can slide down on the internet where you don't know who you're getting information from, or you don't know who you're sending money to do a reading for. Like that, I feel like that's like twin flame in particular is really susceptible to being like a tool for scamming someone.
Yes.
So find someone that's legit.
This is where it comes to the critical thinking that
Right.
if you're an intuitive person, you're good at naturally. So use
Right.
it. Where like read the language,
Right.
like see what they're presenting.
Right.
I mean, in a lot of the quizzes I took, they asked for my like birthday and like time of birth and location. Like I was getting like a natal chart done.
Yes.
And so that part confused me because I couldn't find an origin of that. But then I just thought, well, if you're giving someone a reading, that information I think for some people is helpful to like pinpoint your energy.
Right.
So maybe that's why. But like, so I don't think that's a red flag or not. But just look into stuff.
No, but the very first link I clicked on when I searched twin flame quiz, I just hit the top one.
Yeah.
And they wanted all my natal chart info, and then they clicked through and I had to give them my email, and then they clicked through and I had to pay them.
Oh yeah, I did that one
And
too.
I was like, no, buddy, I'm not
pass.
paying you.
Yeah.
No.
Pass.
So like just obviously use your critical thinking, use your intuition.
Please pay experts in their field for things.
Yeah, but not just some random like internet website.
Random
No.
quiz, don't pay. But like if you
Right.
find an expert in this and they have
Pay
some
them.
good recommendations and you like the way they're talking about it, pay them and just be open to what they say, because I don't know about you, but like I can get a reading or something from someone who believes differently than me.
Absolutely.
I can take that in and then adjust it. And I always say that to other people. If I'm saying something in a way that it's not the right words for you or the right way to do it,
right.
move it to how it works for you. Like that's what intuitive people do
all the time.
That's how we exist.
Right.
So do that.
Yep.
Understand that what shadow work is, and if you haven't listened to our episode on it, please go listen, because again, that's something that can be romanticized in a way that it presents it not as what it is.
Exactly.
And a lot of times when I'm listening to people talk about sort of the more healthy version of twin flames, it's two people who in their relationship do shadow work together.
Exactly.
And that's like that causes like a very strong like intimate bond with someone if you do shadow work with them. So I would understand that would like increase a lot of
the intensity
and feelings and vulnerability and trust and all of that.
I agree.
I think if you're gonna go take some of the quizzes, I would love for you guys to report back if you found one that was like, oh, this is a great quiz.
Yep.
They weren't bad. They were just leading me to know what to answer, and I didn't
Right.
want to do that.
Yeah.
I think whatever your version of twin flame is, just check to make sure it's not hurting you in any way or limiting you in any
Yeah.
way. And then just go like connect with a bunch of souls, and the ones that make your soul feel good, be around them.
Yes.
The ones that make your soul feel shitty, don't be around them.
Yeah. Take some space.
And you have permission, empaths of the world. You don't have to be giving your energy to everyone.
No boundaries.
Boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need some coffee.
Yes.
And maybe we can like see in the coffee shop if we can spot twin flames. So like if there's two half souls having coffee together there. What do you think?
You can do that.